You disgusting, filthy pig.
Really? Come on. Have some self-respect.
Wasn't it enough you embarrassed yourself last night at the bar?
How many times did you do that at the bar? That's why you didn't go home with her.
Yeah, now you do it in front of your Uncle Dave and your Uncle Kev. That's all we try to do here every Saturday morning on the weekend edition of Sports Frenzy 2.0 is guide you through this delicate moment in your life. We know your ego is fragile and you've been through a lot.
But you know, fry up your eggs, get the coffee going, slam a couple aspirin with that glass of water. You know the routine.
We're here for you for the next hour plus to guide you through your Saturday morning hangover.
We'll tell you what to listen to, what to watch. You know the drill. It's your politically incorrect pop culture commentary.
Dropping here on November the 23rd, 2024. This is your last chance to learn something from us before the dreaded Thanksgiving get-together.
Bum, bum, bum.
So maybe we will give you something to discuss with that hot cousin. What, Dave,
we're not recording in Alabama.
The mountains of West Virginia.
Take me home, country road. Oh.
All right. So as always,
we're already off the rails.
As we're already promoting inbreeding here. The weekend edition. We have to start off with rock and roll, as we always do.
And
a grand tradition in rock and roll inbreeding.
And of course, this is appropriate with Nickelback live in Nashville.
Yes, we're breaking the rules this week because there's not a lot of new stuff out there.
We have to parcel it out.
Yep. So this week we are reviewing a live album, but Dave and I were simpatico on this. We kind of selected the different stuff, the newer stuff, the collaborations in the set more so than just we're going to review the whole thing as a whole, not go track by track, but like Hardy shows up and Chris Daughtry shows up. So those are the things we'll focus on more, and the little differences in the eccentricities in the set list versus what you would expect.
Yeah, because pretty much this is mostly the concert that I reviewed last summer that Mrs. C and I went to when Brantley Gilbert and Josh Ross were on tour with them. Obviously, when we get through this, they're still on tour together through the recording of this one.
Yep. So there's 18 songs on the standard edition of Live from Nashville. I believe the Walmart version tacks on a 19th song, cover of Oasis, Don't Look Back in Anger.
Yeah.
But the album, I want to look at the album as a whole, and then we'll get into the
nuances.
Right. This exposes to me why we love Nickelback and why other people hate Nickelback. I think there's an equal balance here.
And this is where Nickelback can drive us nuts.
This set list is really heavy on all of the mid-tempo to slow stuff. And that kind of made me clench my fist a little bit. It's like,
yeah, there's only a few of their drive it home rockin'.
2 songs. As I listened to this, 2 songs where I actually, when they started, I was like, the adrenaline started pumping, and I was starting to get, when I heard...
like Animals and Burn It to the Ground?
Close. Not Animals. I thought Animals was kind of tame. There you go. No. Rockstar. I think Rockstar is still one of the greatest songs, most undervalued, underrated songs ever.
It's very good.
The lyrics are so clever. And everybody gets into Rockstar.
Yeah. It is a solid song.
And then, of course, you did mention my other one, Burn It to the Ground, of course.
Where they finished off. That.
You and I both agree.
Love that song.
Even Figured You Out.
Screaming like demons swinging from the ceiling.
Yeah. But that's the classic rock and roll mantra.
Yeah.
We're going to burn it to the ground tonight. Figured You Out disappointed me. That was the one where I was expecting to get a little bit of a bump, adrenaline bump.
Yeah, no, it kind of fell flat.
Funny thing that in there, though, how he screwed up the lyrics and he acknowledged it.
Yeah.
He basically combined two different lines.
Oops.
I like the freckles on your chest. I like the way you pass the check. And he says, Checkles.
Checkles. Ah.
But that would have been fun. That would have been fun.
That tells you they're actually singing.
Yes. But Chad Kroeger goes, Checkles. So I enjoyed that little, proof that it was real. The flaws are what makes it fun.
Yes.
We don't want the pre-recorded bullshit.
No. That's why you go for live music.
But a lot of the set was the mid-tempo stuff that I can take in small doses.
But not as heavy as this was.
And this is where I say again, this is the kind of set list which feed into the critics.
Yes.
The critics of Nickelback would look at this and go, oh my God.
There you go. That's what you get.
9 of these songs are wussy, generic ballads.
But yet, when Creed does stuff like this, they're praised all over the place. Just pointing it out, kids.
No, and I'm with you, but they made this choice. They chose this set list. Now, I will say, a little bit of observation on some other songs. I love San Quentin. Off the last album, that is the one song
that is
I
the
think
major rockin' tune.
They will keep that song in the set list from here on out.
Yeah, they need to.
Now, they play a couple other songs off of Get Rollin', but
High Time.
Yeah, in those days.
Yeah.
I think San Quentin is the one that's going to stand the test of time.
Yes.
Interesting that they threw Worthy to Say on there. Going all the way back to the State before they were really popular.
Yeah. Decent.
And then you get the solo song, Chad Kroeger's Hero from Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Now we got Copperhead Road, which is a very cool cover of Steve Earle's song.
Yep, with Brantley Gilbert and Josh Ross. This is what they did. They all came out. This was a great cover because it gave equal parts to all three singers. And then coming together, it was great in concert live. They mimicked it, or not mimicked, but carried through with it here in this concert as well.
Yes, and I am very upset.
I would say that is the best of the collaboration pieces coming through.
And that was the one song since I bailed on that weekend. Would have been a little bit too expensive for me, and that is the one song I kind of wish I'd seen live.
Yeah, it was really damn good.
And I'm not a big fan of Steve Earle. I think he's an asshole in real life, but that is his one signature song.
Yep.
That everybody knows. Now, I didn't get Ernest. Flower Shops.
It's like a 1.5-minute song. What the fuck are you doing with that one? Why would you even put that in a concert?
The crowd seemed to know who it was, the song.
Yeah, know your audience. Maybe they threw it in with him there because it's Nashville.
Yeah, I like the line at the very end. You know.
Yeah, but that was about it.
Was it a bad day for love, but a great day for
a flower shop?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a great line. It is a great line.
It's a great line, but it's a 1.5-minute frickin' song.
Yeah.
What's the point?
And then
I will go second song on here, "Saving Me" with Chris Daughtry doing the backup vocals.
Yeah, see, that's why I didn't even bring that up, is because did he really add anything to it?
No, he was just there because it's Nashville. All right, so what?
Hey, we're recording a live album. We need to bring in as many guest stars as we can.
Oh, okay. And then Billy Zimmerman on Rockstar.
Well, that's why, again, another one where I wasn't...
He didn't add anything.
Is it he or she?
I don't know. Billy Zimmerman added nothing to Rockstar.
But then we get to your boy.
Sold Out with Hardy. Now, this is the one where they let Hardy pretty much run it. And not bad. It's still not his strongest what I would consider his strongest song.
I'm not a Hardy guy.
I know you're not.
This was okay. It was okay.
I mean, this is one where if you're bringing out a guest singer,
he seems to me like he's Kid Rock Jr. is what he is to me.
I don't know if I'd go that route. But, I mean, if you're going to bring somebody out, then let them take the lead on it.
Which they did here.
Yeah, which was fine. Which is with Copperhead Road having all three do an equal. That was great. It worked. All the main three pieces of it spread out, which is what made that one the top of all the guests.
Yeah, so it turns out that Nickelback Live from Nashville is a little bit different from your normal live album with all the guest appearances. Yeah. My flaws, again, I will state, are that it's too mid-tempo, ballad heavy. Need a little bit more of the heavier stuff from...
Where's something in your mouth?
Yeah, the long... Well, David.
Well, am I wrong?
No, but they're not going to play that.
Why not?
It's not PC anymore.
It's one of the best...
Back when The Long Road came out, one of the greatest albums ever made, The Long Road, because The Long Road
what was
rocks
Dark Horses?
Huh?
Was it Dark
Horse?
That was one of the first 3 songs on Dark Horse.
I thought that was on The Long Road.
No, it was on Dark Horse.
Well, those 2 albums.
Those were hitting heavy and...
Yes. And they seem to push the heavy stuff aside as much as they can. They will bring it out for Burn It to the Ground, and they will bring it out for Animals. But you got to wade through 3 or 4. I got to listen to Photograph, and I got to listen to Someday, and I got to listen to Far Away, and I got to listen to Saving Me. I'm like, come on. At some point, drop a couple of the ballads off of the set list and put a couple of the rockers in there.
Do what got you to the top. Not the namby-pamby pandering stuff.
Where's Too Bad? Too Bad, second hit off of Silver Side Up.
You don't have anything.
Would have loved to have heard Too Bad on this. But again, now we got to do one for the girls. At one point, Chad Kroger, ladies.
Yeah.
Okay.
We get it.
You got to balance the set a little bit more between the balladry
heavy and the ballad.
Yes.
Yes.
So I thought this was a little bit weighted the wrong way. That being said, it's still a solid, fun concert.
Yeah.
Are
Good
we
stuff.
still, what are we still imposing the 2.5 ban, or
It's the week 3.
I have to do the week 3, I guess, yes.
Instead of the strong 2.5.
Well, I was going to do solid 2.5, but I guess we're not doing that anymore. We never decided.
We never decided officially.
It's right there in the middle for me.
It's a 2 3/4.
For all the positives, when they do Rockstar and they do Burn It to the Ground and San Quentin, for all those highs, some of the collaborations are hit and miss.
It's a frickin' rock solid, hard on 2 3/4.
Oh God! Now we're moving to 2 3/4. 2 7/8. That's what she said.
99 44, 100% dead. Michael Caine. Good movie. It is the weekend edition,
4 songs. 4 songs.
4
buddy.
songs.
I'm going to let you decide. Which one do we go with first?
Oh, should we go with the weak one to start off?
You see, now when you do that,
I
you
like to
spoil
throw
everything.
that.
Just throw one out there and see what I
All
say.
right, nothing. I'm not going to say anything. Forget what I just said. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Which one do I want to go? Tremonti, one more time.
There we go. All right.
This
third single off of the upcoming album, The End Will Show Us How.
This kind of seemed to be the mix between Alter Bridge and Creed. It had elements from both.
Yeah, I can
mixed
see
in
that.
there.
I can see that. It took me a couple times to get into this one, but I will say that now we're 3 songs in on the upcoming album. We're 2 months out before the album comes out. Very happy with what heard.
I'm encouraged that this could be a very good album.
Again, this one took a couple listens before I finally started getting into the lyrics.
Yeah. Musically, you kind of had that Alter Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Lyrically, it was Creed.
Oh, I don't know if I'd go there. That's an insult to the lyrics. I was going to say the opposite.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe they're
Creed's lyrics are never that good.
No, they aren't.
To me, it was more generic rock in terms of the...
That's the Creed part coming through.
Right, but that's musically. I thought the lyrics were very interesting.
Were more... Yeah. There's the mix in
anyway,
there.
I'm giving it a solid 3 frenzies.
Solid 3 for me as well. Very, very, very pleased with this one.
Yes.
Versus what we could have gotten.
Yep.
All right. Let's roll on with the Black Moods and Passion.
Better than the stuff they've put out recently.
It is much better than what we've had. This is going back closer to the Black Moods that we've grown accustomed to, that we latched on to, that got us listening to them.
So I don't know what they're going to do here. They've got 3 songs out now, but they have not announced a new album. And this is what they did before. They put out, I believe, 4 songs years ago and then decided finally to announce an album.
Yeah.
But this one is apart from the first 2, where this is not a lot of experimentation. This is a little more of the straightforward Black Moods that we like. Now, I don't think it's all the way back.
No, it's not where they should be.
But it's getting there.
Getting back away from their, shall we say, their Greta Van Fleet
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, the Greta Van Fleet experimental phase.
Yeah.
So, this one I like. This one I will give a solid 3 frenzies to.
Yep. It's right there as well.
Yep.
So, Rick Springfield, Lose Myself.
Better than, again, the same thing with the Black Moods. Better than the experimental crap he did a few years ago, where we didn't even review the album.
Right, because
we listened to the first 2 singles.
Few were just so bad.
Yeah. This is better. Except he still thinks he has to try to be edgy.
Yeah,
I'm going to curse. I'm going to curse.
This whole shit thing, no, it wasn't needed. Maybe in the very last or the last refrain, it would have fit, but not every refrain. Only one.
He's trying too hard.
Yeah.
To distance himself.
And actually,
from
he
what
didn't need it at all. If that wouldn't have been there, that took away from the flow of the song.
No, the song itself would have been a perfect fit for his 80s persona.
Yeah.
Outside of that, you're right. And you did you watch the video?
I did not watch the video.
The video is even worse. The video gets into this whole S&M thing.
Oh, jeez.
Where he's got chicks beating him up, and he's sitting there singing while he's got a bloody lip. And,
oh my God!
He's trying too hard to be edgy.
Be who you are.
We've come to grips with this. Dave and I have had the discussion multiple times on this podcast where we listened to Duran Duran in the 80s, and we said we're finally embracing it. We couldn't back then. We are now.
We can now. Same with your stuff. Stop. Don't denigrate what you have done with who you were, with who you are. Don't try and reinvent yourself.
And Lose Myself, you made the perfect point. Lose Myself outside of the cursing. I can't believe on an adult podcast that we run, where we fucking say fuck every second of every minute, are saying, Rick, you didn't have to curse on this.
It wasn't necessary.
You could have just left it alone and made it a cool little 80s throwback pop rock tune. And I'm with you. I think the cursing ruined it.
It did. It took away from what it was.
Yep. Had a good hook.
I gotta knock it off on that.
Right.
I gotta go.
Again, I don't know what the rules are anymore.
It's a 2.5. It's gotta be 2.5.
Am I allowed to say 2.5?
2.5. This is a 2.5.
Okay. I just want to make sure. This has been.
I don't know what the rules are anymore.
For the month of November, we've had an issue with 2.5.
You started it.
Well, because it feels like a sellout.
It feels like Nickelback.
So what does that leave us with?
Now we have U2 and Happiness. This had a Jack White feel.
I almost texted you before we got together for this and said, don't do this. Because they bumped up the release date for How to Reassemble an Atomic Bomb. So I was thinking we review the whole album for next week.
We could still do that.
So, do we review the song and then review the album, or do we just wait?
We could do the song and then the album.
Okay.
We've done it before. Or do you want to do Smashing Pumpkins and then U2?
Well, but then we're going to get into Jackal, and then we're going to get into Night Ranger, and...
Does it matter?
I prefer to do U2. I just have a better feeling about U2.
Okay.
And then we do Smashing Pumpkins later.
Okay.
But How to Reassemble an Atomic Bomb, the 10 songs left out from the original How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb sessions, coming out a week early, so we can do that next week.
Okay. Do you want to save this one?
Yes, we're going to review Happiness, the third release. So now I think we should wait.
All right, let's wait. You got a preview of where I was going with it.
But we've got other things to discuss.
But there's other stuff going.
Can I throw a couple songs out there for next week you will be happy with?
Will I be happy?
Yes, you will.
All right. Song 1.
Oh, they're both from the same artist.
All right. Song, both, just 2?
2 songs.
Okay.
Both from the same artist. The anniversary edition.
Oh, God.
Of Feel the Steel has come out. So we have 2 songs that were originally released only in Japan by Steel Panther that are now available here in America.
Oh, lay the first one on me.
The first one is You Don't Make Me Feel Dumb. The second is I Want Your Tits.
There it is. There it is, kids. That's the Steel Panther.
So we have 2 Steel Panther, only because we are politically incorrect, and we advise everybody that we have explicit
So recap,
content.
what were the 2 songs again?
You Don't Make Me Feel Dumb, and I Want Your Tits.
Which, God bless my wife, got me a sticker that I want to put. It won't fit great on my motorcycle helmet. I'm trying to figure out where to put it. I'm a simple man. I like beer and boobs.
And we've got to take your sons out to see Steel Panther.
Yes, we do.
And the problem is I think they're down in Indy next weekend or the weekend after.
Yeah, we can't. The next go round.
Yep.
The next go round.
Yep. Got to take one of the few bands we can afford now, because that leads us into our next topic of discussion.
Fuck Ruoff Music Center outside of Indianapolis.
Our favorite outdoor music venue has instituted new rules.
Fucking over the music fans.
This place, of course, known as Deer Creek.
Back in the day.
To most people who live in Indiana.
Deer Creek. Klipsch Music Center. What the hell else was it before Ruoff?
I can't remember, but you covered the big ones. And we have been going to this venue since the early 90s, at least.
Late 80s.
It has always been a very fun time. Yes, there were some issues with parking flow, but otherwise, always amenable to lawn seats. Bring your chair.
Bring your blanket.
Have fun. Parking was free. Well, now that is all over and done. Parking will now cost you $20 in advance, $25 day of show, and you cannot bring your own chair anymore for any show.
Greedy fucking bastards.
Now, I told Dave that I had heard that this is not Live Nation. This is the Ruoff management deciding to take these steps.
Because they're following along with all the other Live Nation outdoor venues are doing.
So guess what?
It's a Live Nation monopoly money grab bullshit move. Fuck the fans.
This is not the same as parking in a downtown Indianapolis or downtown Grand Rapids, where you have options and choices, even if you're still going to have to pay somewhere. Plus you have multiple places to hang out, bars, restaurants, and within easy walking distance of the venue. You're out in the middle of nowhere, basically. You cannot park anywhere else. So you are held in a stranglehold here now, where they say, you got to pay for parking, or guess what? You're shit out of luck. You can't park across the street at the condo complex.
Ugh. And unless you live close, Uber's out of the question for us.
Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting that they are trying to do this, to do the cheap and easy money grab, to bump up their numbers, where I don't see why they would need to, since they have had, this is the second, what I read, the second most popular venue in the United States.
Yeah, almost 40, just about 40 years they've been in existence and have never charged for parking outside of their premier parking, which lets everybody out first.
Huh, theoretically.
Theoretically. It's a freaking joke. It's pathetic. They should be ashamed of themselves. And to now not allow you to bring your own freaking chair in. Bullshit.
And I will just go on my little rant here and say, this is where live music is going. Thanks to Ticketmaster, thanks to Live Nation. This is their response to being investigated by the government. This is them saying, you want to look into us and try to give us shit? Fuck you. We're going to screw the fans over even more. So all you want and all your shows now are entitled corporate pricks. And you don't want the real music fans there. You want them to sit at home and listen to the music on Spotify. You don't want them there.
You want the people who are going to go, oh, let's just go because it's the place to be seen, and we'll spend obscene amounts of money just getting drunk and not really paying attention to what's going on.
Yeah, but videotape each other and take selfies instead of looking at... And this is the stuff the performers get mad about. They get mad when people are taking selfies all the time and not paying attention.
And recording the entire show.
And not paying attention to the music. Why do we have to run everything?
Ticketmaster and Live Nation and all their sycophants have to ruin everything.
And I'll say it's not just them. Show I was going to ask you if you wanted to go see. Didn't even bother, because I knew what the answer was going to be. Jack White is playing at 20 Monroe Live. $100.
Oh,
standing room. $100 minimum.
Oh,
standing
fuck
room.
That.
That's not all.
Hell no.
That is not all on Live Nation or Ticketmaster. No. Some of that's got to fall on the artist.
Some of that's on the artist. That's fucking ridiculous.
I saw it and I was like, well, let me check
$100 at 20 Monroe, standing room only.
Yes.
Bullshit.
Yep.
Hell no. Screw you, Jack.
But this is what we're coming to. This is why it's here in Shipshewana, a rural area, Amish area in Indiana, to go see ZZ Top at the Blue Gate is $100 minimum. You are pricing out the fans who actually care. You're pricing out the fans who you want what, people to choose 1 or 2 shows a year versus 9 or 10? How does that make any sense? No, less concessions, less parking. You're trying to force people to not go. How does that make any business sense whatsoever? It's stupid. It's idiotic. And this is why I hope this investigation eventually leads to somebody breaking up Live Nation and Ticketmaster and telling people they're not allowed to own the venue and sell tickets to the venue and charge fees to those tickets to that venue. It's a monopoly.
Straight up. You look up monopoly in the dictionary, Live Nation, Ticketmaster, front and center.
Moving on to other stuff. Very, very shameful. Even though Jason Bonham took it very well, very, very shameful that Sammy Hagar would now dismiss Jason Bonham from the Best of All Worlds band and tour because he had to go home to take care of his mother who had a stroke. And Sammy Hagar knee-jerk reaction says, Kenny Aronoff's here. He's more dependable, so we'll just go with him from now on.
Yep, that's Sammy. Sammy is all about Sammy. The hell with everybody else. If you don't do what Sammy wants, when he wants, how he wants, bye-bye.
As a Van Halen fan, I know how two-faced Sammy can be.
You read his book, Red. You know he talks out of both sides of his mouth.
And you wonder why Alex Van Halen did not include any of the Sammy Hagar era stuff in his book. There's something there. There is something there. Now I have a bonus review before we move on. This is a nice bridge from here to TV and streaming, because this is kind of music and TV and streaming. I know you're not going to like hearing this. Because this is one of the guys that I know you're not a huge fan of. And it would cost money. It would cost probably $150. And I'm telling you, you have got to go see Bruce Springsteen one time in your life. I watched...
Oh, just like I had to go see Dave Matthews Band one time in my life.
Well, that was different. That was different. You know Bruce Springsteen. Bruce Springsteen, I watched Road Diary.
I don't want to give this asshat my money.
Road Diary, let's put it this way. How much did I bitch and piss and moan about that Bon Jovi documentary? And considering the context and what we got screwed on seeing him in 2022.
Royally.
This is about Bruce Springsteen's 2023 tour and all the preparation for it. I was expecting the same thing. I was expecting the egomaniacal superstar talking about how great he is. Number one, it's only an hour and 40 minutes compared to what? The 4 hours, the 5, the 6 hours I had to put in and invest in John Bon Jovi, listening to how great of a human being he is. Bruce Springsteen, this is bare bones. Here's how we set up the set list. This is why I put the songs in this. It's brilliant. This is why I set the set list up this way. So this song flows into this song, tells this story, connects to this song. Nothing about him. Nothing about him outside of the music. Absolutely nothing. This is all about the fans, the band. I admired the way he did this.
All right.
Now, I have my issues with him on other things. But the dynamic pricing that he bullshit on that tour, they never bring up. You know. But I've seen him once. I am just telling you, I know you and Mrs. C have never seen him. We should try. If he ever comes around,
I will consider it.
You need to see him once.
There will probably be that year where we reduce the number of shows we go to.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
And just pick a couple of the higher end.
And I'm with you on that. I think that's what it's going to come down to.
So, if we have to run that route, then we run that route.
But I'm just saying, you know the regrets I have for never getting to see Tom Petty.
I do.
You should see Bruce Springsteen once. You should.
We'll see what the cost actually is.
I'm sure he will come back around one more time at least. But
it took how long to get to Mellencamp?
Now, like I said, I've seen Springsteen once. It is worth it.
All right.
When I saw him, that was back when concerts were still cheap. So I think we paid $80 to see him in Orlando at the Arena, and we were a little bit off to the side, but the way the stage was set up, it was not a hindrance, and phenomenal. We were right on the aisle. It was great. Great.
All right. It's a consideration.
I feel worse. You're going to hold Dave Matthews Band against me forever. I feel worse about Bon Jovi. Personally, the whole Dave Matthews Band thing is on you. You just don't know good music when you hear it.
Dave Matthews sucked balls.
The problem is, I helped push us to see Bon Jovi instead of the Eagles.
I don't like the jam band
That made
stuff.
me mad.
We should have gone with the Eagles.
It was twice as much, but we should have gone with the Eagles.
I
don't feel bad about Dave Matthews.
It was the three of us deciding
And we still should have gone to see Pearl Jam.
No. Hell to the fucking no.
So that transitions. So Road Diary is on Hulu right now and Disney Plus. So that leads us into TV and streaming. Yay! Woohoo! Now they got Dave mad thinking about the Dave Matthews Band.
Bastard.
I can tell his temple, he's got a vein in his temple bulging.
Hold the ice. Calm it down before I stroke out. All right.
Before we get into our shows, a couple things I want to point out. I was going to do a review. I feel like I have to shout out.
The new Zoo review?
No, we're not going back to the PBS shows of the 70s. Zuma, Zuma, Zoom, my Zoom. No, but...
Come on and Zoom.
I wanted to do a review of this great sitcom from the early 2000s called Grounded for Life until I realized that there's more than 2 seasons. I went through 2 seasons.
With the great Donald Loge.
Yep. And there's 3 more seasons out there that I can't get a hold of. So how can I do a full series review?
You can't.
But I do want to say, if you can get a hold of it or you can check out Grounded for Life, phenomenal, funny as hell. Politically incorrect, which is the best part.
Back when you could get away with that stuff.
Right. Yep. Also, I have not watched the latest episode of Yellowstone all the way through because I started it and they wanted to fucking give me nightmares. Let's just put it this way. Episode 10 of Season 5, this is not a spoiler. This is not any kind of integral part of the plot.
Snakes?
Anyway.
Yep, I nailed it.
Rip and most of the crew from the Yellowstone Ranch have had to go down to Texas with the herd. And episode 10 starts out that they have actually camped on an old prairie dog. I don't know what you call it. And of course, when they abandon the colony, guess who moves in?
The rattlesnakes.
So I have to be subjected to the fact that they get ready at the crack of dawn for breakfast, and they're sitting there looking for one of their crew members. They're like, "Where's so-and-so?" "Haven't seen her." "Where is she?" "She's still in her tent." So Rip has to go look for her, opens up the flap on her tent, and she's sitting there laying in her sleeping bag, staring up at the ceiling. And he's like, "What the fuck are you doing? You need to get..." She's like, rattlesnake. And he opens up the flap on her sleeping bag, and there's a fucking huge ass rattlesnake on her chest.
Oh,
And I'm like,
sleeping.
I won't sleep again. And so Rip has to grab it, throw it out, stomp on its head, and then tell her, number one, you stupid idiot, this isn't Montana. You've got to zip up every night. You cannot leave your flap open. And he tells her, oh, by the way, check the rest of your tent because there's probably more. And so she takes a cattle prod and starts, and sure enough, there's a couple more. And then they realize they are camped on
a rattlesnake nest.
Yes. Oh, God, for the love of God. What are you doing to me?
Into the great wide open.
Oh my God! And then he goes out to check on the horses, and there's rattlesnakes out there. And he's got to stomp on the heads of the. And I'm like, Jesus God! Could you just figure out a way to give me a heart attack an easy way? Too much fried food. Why do you do this to me?
Snake bites.
Oh, but when he ripped open the sleep, it was huge. A huge rattlesnake on her chest. And I'm like, oh my God. I would have been dead from a heart attack. So I will figure out how to get through the rest of that episode at some point in time.
Oh.
So that leads us into, we can't talk about Tracker. Dave's not caught up yet.
Nope. But I do have a tie-in. Just started watching season 3 of The Lincoln Lawyer on Netflix. Now, in season 2, Mickey was defending Glory Days, a lady of the evening, and getting her a deal, trying to get out from under a cartel person and everything. Season 3 picks up Glory Days' murder. Who's responsible? The actress who plays Glory Days plays Renee in Tracker.
No shit.
No shit.
Wow.
So, Lincoln Lawyer, I'm through the first 2 episodes. Very good. Solid, just like the first 2 seasons. Looking forward to finishing it off.
Does she hold a purse like a real priss, like she does in Tracker?
No, she's a high-end call girl.
That's the one thing that drives me crazy about her character. Yes.
Yeah, she's a little entitled.
And she does it again at the end of episode 6.
Of course she does.
That's not a spoiler, but
that's her mannerisms. That's who she is.
Oh my God. But when you catch up, we have something to discuss, because episode 6 adds a little bit to the TV show's mythology. Let's put it that way, in terms of who's going to be involved in the future and what they're going to be involved in.
The different. Okay.
Then, of course, we have the vampires. What we do in the shadows. Now, how far are you caught up on the vampires?
Just through Nandor's army.
Oh! Okay, sorry. All right. I might have spoiled something for you then earlier, off mic.
I wasn't paying much attention to what you were doing, so...
Okay. So you're through episode 5.
Through 5, because we were doing 1 a week.
Oh, you were the one that started that, and then you...
And I did that the first week, and then I am backing off.
I will have to stop watching for a couple weeks.
Through?
Well, I caught up.
Where are we?
I'm through 7.
Good Lord, man.
I've watched them all through 7 this past Monday.
You son of a bitch.
So, sorry. I thought that's you said.
No, I did that 1 week, and then I said, we're going from here on out. Not jumping ahead.
Then I will take a break, and I will not watch for the next few weeks.
I will catch up.
All right.
I will ruin my little run.
So through episode 5, if you guys remember, and I know we've referenced this in the past, when we were on cable access, when we were doing our openings, which were kind of,
my friend.
I love that. Keep going. And when we would do our openings, it was our combination of sports and Saturday Night Live. And we would do our little comedy openings. And we were so proud of them, and we loved them.
We spent more time working on that than the actual taping of the show.
We would spend an hour and a half. We got 3 hours to record. We would spend an hour and a half recording 10 minutes, and then an hour and a half recording the final 20. And we didn't even need that much.
No.
Because that's when we just talk about sports. But we would set up these elaborate skits at the beginning. And the final episode ever to air on cable access was Sports Apocalypse Now. And if you guys,
it was glorious.
If you guys have not figured it out by now, through many references and allusions, Dave does not have any hair anymore. He had a glorious mullet at one time. So
it was beautiful. It was a beautiful
thing. We both
thing.
pine for our old mullets. But that should tell you who Dave played in Sports Apocalypse Now, as he had a wet washcloth. And I was on board the ship with, I believe, the elder statesman.
Yep.
And I had fake cigarettes.
on the PT boat cruising down the Mekong.
So why do we bring this up? Because the great and glorious episode 5 of season 6 is What We Do in the Shadows, their homage to Apocalypse Now. And now it's fully 100, if it wasn't fully 100% locked in before, it now is, that this is one of the 10 funniest shows ever created. And Colin Robinson coming out, you gotta listen to his words, man.
Monkey boy.
and poor Laszlo and Nadia don't know what the hell's going on. Guillermo is the enemy. They keep, you get the fuck out of here.
It's all your fault.
Oh my God. But then they've got this goofball lounge singer type singing The Doors at the beginning and the end. You're dead. You're dead.
You're dead.
They're singing singing the theme from What We Do in the Shadows, like Jim Morrison and The Doors, the prevalent music in Apocalypse Now.
My God, it was frickin' brilliant. Oh, God, I'm gonna miss this series.
Very, very funny. Very funny. They are not gonna, I don't think they're gonna let us down. Here is everything winds to a close. Probably December.
Yeah. They think 12 episodes.
It'll probably be the end of December.
Yeah. That's where it's going to wrap up. But, oh my God.
And they swear they have got an ending.
And now, have you noticed they're going 40 minutes?
Yes. Yep.
So they're supersizing their half hour.
Yep. Yeah, I still find it amazing how we have let the rules lapse in that now, after 10 o'clock at night, we can drop the F-bomb on cable TV left and right. It doesn't matter.
Fuck you say.
Yes, we will definitely...
What, you got at least a dozen of them in this last episode?
Oh, God, yeah.
Minimum?
Yep. Yep.
Oh.
It will be sad.
I'm going to miss the vampires.
When we finally have to do our review of season 6 of What We Do in the Shadows. But I guess you go out on a high note.
Yep. Yep, you've got to.
My only concern is they pull a Seinfeld.
Oh, where they do
the very final episode blows.
That sucks. Yeah.
Everything up until that final episode is brilliant.
And then it's the biggest turd on the planet.
Yep. That's my one fear. Because they keep saying, oh, you're going to love the ending. You're going to love the ending.
We'll see.
All right, little bit of movie and TV news. And then we have got big movie reviews for you. Big movie reviews. They have disrespected Clint Eastwood, Dave. They have disrespected Clint Eastwood.
Why, is that who Jake Paul wants to fight now in a bare-knuckle brawl?
No, because when does a Clint Eastwood movie get treated so badly it doesn't get a wide release in the theaters and it gets pushed off to HBO Max?
Never.
So Juror number 2, the latest movie from the late, I don't want to say that, the great Clint Eastwood.
The latest movie from the great Clint Eastwood.
Thank you. Which had a very limited release in theaters, already going to be on HBO Max December.
Why did it have a limited release? Why is a Clint Eastwood movie not getting a big national release? Why did it not have the big, widespread media push with all the trailers everywhere?
That's my question. I don't get it. Because we can't have movies for adults anymore? We can't have movies with decent directing and good acting? It's got to be what? All animation and kids movies? I am disappointed in this.
That sucks.
Very disappointed in this.
That's pathetic.
The guy is not going to be around that much longer. He's a brilliant movie maker, and you people are disrespecting him like this. And by all accounts, this movie's brilliant.
Well, of course it is. He did it.
So, if you got Max, HBO, December the 20th, you will get to watch Juror number 2. So you'll have to tell me how it is.
Yep.
So Kevin Smith is still busy.
Doing what?
Well, we've talked about the fact that he swears that his next project is going to be Jay and Silent Bob Store Wars. Where Jay and Silent Bob open up...
Competing weed shops.
Yes. Jay and Silent Bob open a dispensary, and then they go to war with the one across the street.
Is it going to be Randall and Don? Oh, no, it can't be. Never mind.
But now, in addition to the fact that we also discussed he's going out on tour with Dogma next year, now that he has finally released the movie from the shackles of the Miramax clusterfuck, and has the rights to it again and will be able to release it on streaming and on DVD, he now says
he's going to be doing...
He is in discussions with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck to return for Dogma 2.
I will believe it when it happens.
Yeah, he seems to do this a lot. We're still waiting for Mallrats 2.
Yeah, we never got that, and... Sorry, it's not going to be the same without Shannon Doherty.
And it took how long to finally get Clerks 3?
Yeah. He does not exactly move.
He's got ADD.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
He's got movie director, producer ADD. So.
Oh, I can do this. Oh, look, a rabbit. Oh, look, a chicken. Oh, look, there's a squirrel. Oh, I got to follow this rabbit over here.
Look, there's a big blunt.
Boom.
Oh, Muse is over there. Yeah, let me go talk to him.
Blunt Man and Chronic. I think that says it all.
I agree with you. I do. I will not believe anything from Kevin Smith until it's in the can, it's done, it's been filmed.
And I see the fucking trailer.
Yeah. And finally, before we move on to our big double movie review segment this week, James Gunn's DC Universe could just be getting a little bit more interesting. Now, I don't know if you guys out there in podcast land, Dave remembers this comic book series. Daniel Craig, yes, formerly 007. Daniel Craig is in talks to star. Now, I love it when they take the secondary characters and make movies about them.
Right.
Daniel Craig is in talks to star in a DC Comics adaptation of Sergeant Rock.
No. Seriously?
Yes. Yes.
Wow. Wow.
Back when the World War II military, remember Nick Fury, that's really where Nick Fury started.
Right.
On Marvel. Nick Fury and his fighting commandos.
Yeah.
And then Sergeant Rock was the DC version.
Wow. That could be intriguing.
This gives me hope. James Gunn could possibly know what he's doing.
Maybe.
I still have doubts, but
It's still DC.
Sergeant Rock, that would be awesome. That would be awesome.
That would be cool if they do it right. Gunn knows how to do things right. He did things right with Marvel, but it's still fucking DC.
Yep, Daniel Craig with the bristle cut, the crew cut, bristle cut,
That could be good.
with the cigar.
That could
yep.
be good.
All right, this isn't no clown show here with the movie reviews, kids. We're not doing some third-rate Peacock streaming movie. We are doing a new release and a recent release, both of which feature big-time stars, big-time special effects. So, do you want to start off with Red One or with Twisters?
Let's start with Red One. Alright, so we're going to get the holiday season kicked off right here on Spotify, Good Pods, Pocket Casts, Apple, Overcast, CastBox, Amazon, Audible, and iHeart Sports Frenzy, baby!
Of course, that is iHeart Radio.
For you novices out there.
Don't forget to check out the Facebook page for each and every episode of the Weekend Edition as well as the Sports Edition.
Which drops on Thursday mornings for your favorite politically incorrect sports commentary. So, delving into this past weekend's latest release, Red One, J.K. Simmons starring as Santa Claus, and getting kidnapped in his assistant bodyguard personal trainer, The Rock, has to enlist the help of the number one naughty lister, Chris Evans' character. Trying to track him down, find him, making sure Christmas Eve goes off without a hitch. Not a bad little movie. It's got its little generic pieces, but for a family with kids who are in that 8 to 13-year-old range, that's the sweet wheelhouse for it. Not bad. It was better than I thought it was going to be. For the tale of redemption for Chris Evans' character and Saint Nick and his brother Krampus making his debut.
I was going to say, the previews, you have Krampus and you have the snowmen.
The snowmen, and with their Peyronie disease noses of carrots. And then you've got Grisilla, the winter witch. Not bad. It was actually better than I expected it to be. It had a good flow to it. Not bad. I will give it a week 2
Okay.
It had some of those really moments, or why didn't you go here when you went there? But overall, it was pretty decent.
Now, here's an interesting thing about holiday movies, Christmas movies. They, I would say, above all other types of movies, it's all about longevity. It's all about will they stand the test of time? Because we have seen Christmas movies fall
Come and
flat on
go.
their face and never be heard from again. And we've seen others where they have gradually built up and built up and built up and built up a following over years. And I mean, look at A Christmas Story.
Right, that's been there. Die Hard is a fucking Christmas movie, people. And in this, there is an homage to Die Hard that you have to watch out for.
Nice. Very nice.
It's brilliant. It's subtle. It legitimizes Die Hard as a Christmas movie. But I don't know that this one is... I don't know that this is going to stand the test of time. Because afterwards, we talked about it. My mom went with us to see it was a full family-on event.
So you get a bunch of different generations.
Yes. So Mrs. C and I, we took the boys, we took my mom. My mom's like...
Three generations of people.
Yeah. So my mom's like, so is this going to make the Christmas viewing list, the rotation? And the boys go, no.
Oh, okay. So the younger generation says flat out no.
And I said no. Because what are our Christmas viewing? Christmas Vacation.
Of course.
On Christmas Eve, Christmas Day night, we watch Die Hard. And somewhere in the mix, we also try and get Violent Night in now. So, Red One, while decent, entertaining, I don't know that it's going to stand the test of time to be that go-to watch every year like the others that I've mentioned that we've embraced. But it's worth a watch at least once.
See, if I had to pick, like you had three there.
So Elf is
Elf would be.
Elf is the pre-leading in.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say you left Elf out.
Elf
has to be in.
Elf is leading into it. Christmas Story, give or take.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
So, but Elf is in the week leading
I think
up to
Christmas
Christmas.
Story is a tad overrated.
It is.
But I'm with you. Christmas Vacation, Die Hard, Elf. Elf's got to be in there.
Yep, Elf is leading into it.
Okay.
So it's one of the ones we do watch.
On that. Yep.
So.
All right, now you and I both watched Twisters.
Yes.
Debuted last weekend on Peacock. Oh boy. Now you were not here. You took you had a couple weeks ago. We had the REO Speedwagon concert, so I had to put the show together on my own. So I reviewed Godzilla and Kong: The New Empire.
Right.
Watching Twisters reminded me of the exact same feelings I had watching that movie, where
you took a beloved.
You've dumbed it down to the point where all the characters are stupid and one-dimensional. You ignore, and maybe I'm too old. Maybe I'm getting too old. But I've gotten to the point where wanton destruction of people and property, at some point I just go, come on. But
isn't that what makes a disaster movie a disaster movie?
But it doesn't go too far. We're not talking... The Towering Inferno or Poseidon makes more sense to me.
Don't you remember Earthquake?
Earthquake's fine. It was one event. we're supposed to believe tornado after tornado after tornado
But
after tornado after tornado.
Sort of what's going on out in Tornado Alley. It happens. Maybe not to that extent.
We're just supposed to say, okay, all these people get sucked in or get stomped on by Godzilla, and we're supposed to go, okay, thousands of people died, but where's the movie going to take us? I get to the point where I go, it's a little bit too much. I
can see the one at the beginning to set up.
Yes. The
main tragic story. Then the little one going in.
But they go out.
But there were
Powell and Daisy Edgar Jones go out just for a night together, and then there's going to be a tornado to tear up the rodeo.
But you needed that event that pulls her back in.
Oh, stop it! Oh my God! Seriously?
I'm justifying it.
It's a terrible movie. It's a terrible, awful movie. It's lazy in its writing. I didn't care about any of the characters at all. Glenn Powell's character changes after half an hour, changes from an arrogant asshole to all of a sudden the most caring person in the world. Don't you understand? We sell the t-shirts to feed the people after their lives have been destroyed. But I'm going to be a sanctimonious asshole and tell the guy who's offering them cash for their property he's evil.
Yeah.
God. I hated this movie. It
wasn't great.
I wasn't a huge fan of the first one.
See, I enjoyed the first one more than this.
And did you notice the little gender swap with the white t-shirt?
Yeah.
Instead of getting Helen Hunt in a wet, tight white t-shirt, we get Glenn Powell
in a wet white t-shirt.
Thanks a lot, Hollywood.
Way to ruin our memories. Her memories.
Yeah, Daisy Edgar Jones looks like she's 12 years old. I know she's 26, but she looks like she's 12 years old. And I can understand why the filmmakers didn't push the romance. They did, but you notice they never kissed.
No, there was
no physical contact.
No.
Because she looks too young.
Too damn
I know,
young.
She's 26.
They're not that far off in age.
I know. But she looks
young. Like she's 18.
Yes. I didn't care about any of the characters. I didn't care about the rogue band of storm wranglers, tornado wranglers. I hated all of them. I thought they were all idiots.
Well, yeah. Oh, let's shoot fireworks off into the middle of a tornado.
Yeah, but again, 15 minutes later, they're all serious about caring for people and saving the world.
Well, you can do the stupid stuff and then help other people.
See, you're being much nicer with this movie than I. This is the same bullshit I put up with 2 weeks ago. I can't stand Hollywood and how they insult us with these types of movies.
Yeah, it was not great by any stretch of the imagination.
And I'm tired of Glenn Powell. I'm getting sick of him. Why is he now the go-to guy for everything?
Somebody's got to be. He's the new Tom Cruise.
Oh my God. I don't know. I don't hate him, but I don't like him either. I have no connection with him as an actor.
He has not gotten the right role yet.
But he has had 3 massive hits between Top Gun Maverick, this, and the one with
Sydney Sweeney.
Yes, Sydney Sweeney.
She's pretty.
Yeah.
No, he has not been
There
cast.
were 2 reasons why that movie did well.
They're real and they're spectacular.
Oh, no, I was going to say Powell and Sydney.
Right. So I don't think he's hit that right role yet.
He was fun in Hitman.
Yes.
He was fun in Hitman.
All right, I take that back. He had the one role that showed
Still
what he
wasn't
could
a classic,
possibly
but
do.
at least it was fun.
Yeah, it showed he has some depth.
Yeah.
And can do a wide range of things.
I like that just because it was a little different.
Yes.
A little bit like Fletch. Still wasn't great.
No, but it showed he can pull off different ranges.
But
this was
we just talked about juror number 2. And juror number 2 can't even get a wide release. Directed by Clint Eastwood. And we can't get that out in theaters so people can see it. But this trash gets 4,000 screens, makes $260 million because people feed me pablum, feed me more trash, feed me more crap. So I don't have to think. I don't have to think about my bills.
I want to be told.
I don't have to think about my kids or my family. I just want 2 hours of not having to think. Well, maybe you need to think for 2 hours instead of subjecting yourself to this.
Boy, you had a rough week, didn't you?
I just didn't. I have fewer hours in front of me than behind me. And I don't need people to waste my time with crap like this. Nothing about this movie is any good. The special effects are okay.
Special effects were pretty good. They went a little overboard in some areas, but they always do.
Where'd they go overboard? Seriously.
Really? With her in the truck
At the end?
at the end, that was a little much.
Okay. I was hoping the scene with the refinery was going to turn into something more.
That was a letdown scene right there.
Exactly.
That was a full-on letdown.
That's the one they showed in the previews where I was like, that looks like that could end up being. I thought we were going to get a fire tornado that was going to.
Yes, exactly. I thought it was going to wipe out the one truck, and
no,
that was the biggest letdown right there.
Yeah.
They had an opportunity that they missed with that one.
I can only give this 1.5 frenzies. I just didn't like it. I didn't. I'm sorry. And I'm getting tired of my intelligence being insulted with movies like this and Godzilla vs. Kong, The New Empire.
It's a 2 for me. I liked it a little better than you. I take disaster movies as they are. And this was a weak disaster.
But again, I love a disaster movie if it makes sense. Poseidon Adventure makes sense. Towering Inferno makes sense. Even you bring up Earthquake. Earthquake makes sense to me.
Dante's Peak was a little.
It wasn't a good movie. It wasn't the fact that they overdid the disaster. It just wasn't a good movie.
Don't disparage that around Mrs. C.
I know she loves that movie. Oh my God, yeah.
She watches that like I watch the original Roadhouse.
Now, I'm always down with a really good, but we haven't had a good disaster movie since the originals in the 70s.
It's been a long time.
What, 2012 was terrible? The Day After Tomorrow
was not good.
No. You've got to make it a singular event that we can understand, relate to, and we understand why the people are trying to escape it, get themselves free of it. Twister goes too far with, it's going to be 3 days of massive tornadic activity. Whatever. Come on. One thing. Boat sinks. We got to get out. Building's on fire. We got to get out.
We have not really had a good hurricane movie.
No. Now, Crawl was interesting. But that was more of a personal thing where Crawl was where there was a hurricane and it pushed all the gators.
Into inland. That was more of a horror movie than a disaster movie.
Yeah. I'm sure there's plenty of things that we could come up with in terms of disaster movies. But, oh my God, tornado after tornado after tornado after tornado after tornado. Oh my God, enough already. Sorry.
The science of trying to dry one up and make it...
Don't even get me started on that bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. I like the original bit with the array trying to map it out.
Right.
That had that had merit. The whole, let's dry it up and make it disappear, not so practical.
Yeah, and one last thing. How insulting is it to the other people that the main dozen characters are the only ones that are smart enough to go, you need to go inside right now! The tornado's coming! I'm gonna sit out here.
I'm gonna try and hold my tent. I'm gonna keep my stuff from flying away.
Come on. Wasn't that insulting beyond belief?
That was bad.
Where only Glenn Powell and Daisy Edgar Jones and all the other friends they have are the only ones smart enough to go, you need to go inside right now! You need to get out of the car! Otherwise you're gonna die! Well, no shit. I think most people know that.
Most people are going to try and get in their car and drive away.
All right.
Most people are that fucking stupid.
All right. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Still, 2 tepid reviews. I guess the most encouraging one is, would you like better, Twisters or Red One?
Red One.
Okay. There you go. All right, moments of silence. Moments of silence. Dave's not going to know these, but they are very significant passings in the world of music. So let's start off with 2 people.
Not 1, 2.
No, 2. Dennis Bryan and Colin Peterson.
Songwriters?
They were both, at one time or another, drummers for the Bee Gees. And
That's why I would not know them.
And they both died within a week of each other.
Wow.
Even though they were 2 different eras of the Bee Gees. One from the disco era, one from the very beginning. So they both passed away.
Thoughts and prayers to their family and friends.
And then the other moment of silence we have is for Vic Flick. Do you know who Vic Flick is?
Not offhand.
Let me give you a clue. Dun 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 dun.
The composer.
The guitarist.
Oh, the guitarist for the James Bond theme.
Yes, Vic Flick was the guitar player on the original James Bond theme. And unfortunately, he has passed away. So thoughts and prayers out to everybody in the Bee Gees family and the James Bond family. I keep hearing things about the new James Bond movie, and they keep going all over the place.
There's no set anything for it.
I know.
They have no clue what they're doing.
But they keep swearing, we don't want to wait too long.
Yeah, well, you've already waited too long.
All right. We did not have moments of silence this week on our sports edition. Well, we did have one moment of silence. We did not have dumbasses.
No dumbasses.
Sorry. We didn't have dumbasses. We do have 3 dumbasses here on the weekend edition.
So which of these 3 will be the Red Foreman dumbass of the week?
Now, I'm still trying to get all the politics out of here. I'm still trying to get the post-election stuff out of here.
There's some fucking stupid shit, though.
And that would start with one Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg falsely accused a New York City bakery of refusing her order due to her politics. Of course, the bakery came back and said there was a boiler issue and everybody backed up the bakery. Now there is legal actions possibly pending for slander with Miss Goldberg.
Good, hold her ass accountable.
But it's amazing to me how these liberal fucktards will pull this shit when it's convenient for them.
Always.
Speaking of which, next year we are going to get a politically correct version of Snow White. Of course, we can't have, just like with The Little Mermaid, can't have a white woman playing the lead role. But Rachel Zegler, who is playing Snow White, I don't think Disney really wanted her to get out on social media after the election and say things like, "We hope Trump and his supporters find no peace. Fuck this."
Not a good look.
For one of the Disney princesses.
Yeah, I think somebody needs to be recast.
A little late now. The movie's going to be coming out in about 4 months, 5 months, I believe. Then finally, I could have done this earlier with the sports edition, but it works both ways. Figured just do it all here. It must be nice to be filthy, rich, and stupid. Drake lost $355,000 betting on Mike Tyson in the Tyson Full fight. Again, isn't it awesome just be able to throw away that kind of money?
Oh my God.
Betting on Mike Tyson. Now, Conor McGregor, I cannot locate the exact dollar figures. He also bet on this fight. But now he also bet on the UFC fight last weekend as well. Supposedly wagered $1 million total on both. But I can't find out where he bet the money. So, but we know for sure Drake lost $355,000 betting on Mike Tyson. So, who we going with, Dave? We going with Drake? We going with Rachel Zegler, our new Snow White, saying fuck this to the new Trump administration, or Whoopi Goldberg for falsely accusing a New York City bakery of refusing her order due to her politics?
Oh, as much as I want to nominate them all, I've got to go with the one who has a regular seat on the plane of doom.
Whoopi.
Whoopi!
Whoopi.
Whoopi! Being the perennial dumbass that she is.
Jesus
She
Christ.
just
I mean, how many
she
seats?
lives
How
up
many
to it.
seats on the plane of doom do we have to reserve for people from The View? Her, Behar, Sonny Hostin's on there now, because she could be the worst of the three now. So that's at least 3 of them.
Yeah.
That we have to put on the plane of doom. What did we decide? We're consulting with Boeing on a new supersized jet for this?
Yes.
Boeing
is appropriate.
I did actually think about the plane of doom last week, and I had fantasies of that thing just nosediving into the Atlantic. God, that would make things so much easier in life.
No, I imagine it going down in the Pacific over the Mariana Trench, where there's no hope for any recovery of anything.
Yeah, we'll have to discuss this. Yeah, where would be the best place? We'll give our pilot a parachute, and that's it. We'll make sure that the...
Oh, no, there's no pilot. It's all remote these days.
Can we do that?
It's a big drone.
With that many people?
Why not?
I don't know. I don't know how the aerodynamics work. Can we do that?
Why not?
Can you actually fly a huge jumbo jet
Remotely?
by remote?
Why couldn't you?
So,
It's not like we have to worry about takeoff's easy. It's not like we have to worry about landing.
so what do we do about the flight attendant?
What flight attendant?
We don't even like pretend, give them some sense of comfort, because wouldn't that make it better? Let them ease in to a sense of comfort, and then we let them realize that.
No, this is a black ops operation. This is the full hoods, knockout drops.
Oh, so they're going to be unconscious before we even take off.
No. They're unconscious when we put them on the plane. We wait till everybody wakes up before we take off.
See, now I thought we were going to dupe them into all getting on the plane like some kind of a Jeffrey Epstein trip.
Oh no, this is black ops. This is full on black hoods. They wake up on the plane and it's the whole picture Jigsaw on the on-screen movie.
I want to take you on a flight. You're devious. You're a bad man. You're a very, very bad man.
Yes, I have some very dark tendencies.
I am going to go with Rachel Zegler.
There we go.
Because, number one, you should be thankful for PC bullshit that got you the role, the job to begin with, that you didn't deserve, and now you're going to blow it, be arrogant and blow it.
The rat's going to protect her. Come on.
Somebody pointed out something very, very relevant, though. A countersuit. They fired Gina Carano.
Yep.
From The Mandalorian for shit that wasn't this bad.
Yeah.
Her posting her political views, and they fired her from The Mandalorian.
Why isn't she fired, and why aren't they pulling the movie?
That's why I think Rachel Zegler is the dumbass of the week.
I think it needs to go back to the rat on that one.
That's going to do it. The weekend edition is over, fini, and done for this week. That's your Uncle Dave.
That's your Uncle Kev.
Now next week, I will have my review of Alien Romulus. We're going to review U2's How to Reassemble an Atomic Bomb. We'll catch up on Tracker and the vampires and the rattlesnakes on Yellowstone.
And we'll see where the Lincoln lawyer's at and all that good stuff. I'll figure out what movie I'm going to watch.
Yeah, I looked. I couldn't find another one that we could watch together this week.
Yeah,
so.
I will stumble and bumble upon something.
But I've got like 5 days left on my Hulu, so I've got to burn through Alien Romulus and Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. So I might have 2 next week.
There you go. All right.
But until then,
say goodnight to the kids, Kev.
God damn it. Good night to the kids, Kev. Got me again. Son of a bitch!